Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us for another market prep video. Today is Tuesday, November 11th. It is of course Remembrance Day today as well. Because of Remembrance Day, I was off of work today, so I just basically had a day at home. We also had some more snow, so it has been snowing here for the last couple days, kind of on and off. Most of it came Sunday and Sunday night. So the last 2 days, Connor has had a snow day from school, so he was actually home with me today as well. So we were able to get some things done around the house. We did pause and take a break and watch some of the Remembrance Day ceremonies that were streaming from Ottawa. We just did some cleanup around the house, and now I'm sitting down for the first time. It's about 5:30 in the evening, and now it's time to start working on some crochet items because we are very quickly coming up to the next market, which is this coming Sunday, November 16th. So yeah, we have some work ahead of us to get done. I will show you what I got done. So those few items that I had started at my last market this past weekend, I did finish those up. So we got the little turtle all completed. We got everything connected and his body sewn up, so he turned out cute. I'm going to try and do a few more of those before the next market. The next one was our little octopus, so again he was almost done, so we got the eyes put in as well as just sewn up at the bottom, so got him completed, as well as the mallard. So we have this cutie patootie little mallard. So this is one of the mallards from my book that I purchased, which I will be doing a full recap eventually. And I don't know what it is about ducks and mallards in particular, but I absolutely love doing them. So now we have 3 in the mix. We have this one, we have the big one that I do, and we have the little mallard squishes. So we definitely have a good lineup of mallard ducks. And it always seems like everyone really gravitates towards them as well. Everyone loves ducks. They're cute. Today I was able to make another little octopus. We got a purple one, so I'm going to try and get a few of these done as well. And then I also did up one of the little bitty bunnies again, although, I don't know guys, is it just me? Or does this bunny look angry? I don't know how to make him not look angry. I don't know if it was the ears. I think I put the ears too spread apart. I think I put them closer together on the last one. I was trying to look back on some of the pictures of the last one I did. And yeah, he just looks like an angry little bunny to me. But I'm sure someone will pick him up regardless of what he looks like, so. Also, now that I think of it, I found my little chicken pattern. It was in that little book that I got with my Premier Yarns order that one time, and it was laying about in the living room. I don't know why it was out there or when I took it out there, but I found it. So we did start getting a few of those done. So I have 3 of the little chicken bodies done so far. We got 2 brown and then a little cream one. So I'm going to probably sit here right now and crank out a bunch of these. I would like to have 15 to 20 going into Sunday because they are a little bit smaller and I sell them for $5. So the market that I had in October, they completely sold out, and I think I had 20 or 25 that I took with me there. So I'd like to have at least 15 going into this weekend. So I'm going to probably sit here, watch some TV, and crank these guys out, and then we'll see how much time we have left to get some more things done. Maybe I'll work on some turtles today too. But I will check in once I get some more of the chickens done and see how many we can get done. See you soon. So just a little check-in. It is currently 8:30 and I didn't get as much done as I had hoped. I kind of got sidetracked with some other things and watching TV, and I realized I wasn't actually working away. So all I got done really, so we got 2 more octopus done. So we did these 2 little guys, so like a teal color and then like a mulberry color. So those 2, and then we just got 3 more little chickens done. So I just did 2 more in the cream color and then 1 sort of in like a speckly brown color. So that's kind of where we're finishing off tonight. I might work for a little bit longer. I'm probably going to switch it up because like I've mentioned before, I can't sit and do one thing for too long. I need to keep switching up gears and doing something different. I think I might actually work on some of the little baby tortoises. I only have 1 left after last weekend's market, so I would like to get a few more of those done in some different colors. But yeah, I think that is where we are going to finish off tonight. And I will try and check in again sometime this week. Of course, tomorrow back to work as usual. The nice thing is this market this weekend is on a Sunday, so I will have all day Saturday to prep. I don't love doing Sunday markets because it's a longer day and then you're right back to work the next day. I like to have that day break after a market, but at least with this, with it being this way, I'll be able to prep on Saturday and kind of finalize some things there. So yeah, so we'll check in again before the market happens. Hey everyone, just doing a last check-in before market. Today is Saturday, November 15th, and market day is tomorrow morning, bright and early. When we left off on Tuesday, I had got a couple things completed. I did get a few more things done throughout this week. We had a bit of a busy week this week. I think it was Thursday, Connor had an exhibition basketball game, so we went to that. It was good. They lost, but they were also playing against a U18 team. They might have actually been U19, so they're older kids, but they had a good game. It was good practice for them for sure before they actually get into the games early next year. So I will go over kind of a recap of a couple things that we already looked at, and then I will show you what we have completed as well this week. So I think I already showed you. So we got, let me get them all here. They're all beside me. So we got 4 of the octos in various colors. So I was going to try and get some more done, but that's kind of where we left off with these guys. So we got 4 of the octos done. I did have one of the mallards done in the last video, so I did do a second one. So we have a pair of them to go with us tomorrow. Same thing with the turtles. So I had gotten the one done. I did do another one in a different color. So we have a couple of those guys done. The other thing too, I realized I don't ever mention is the yarn that I use for each plushie that I'm making. So these 2 turtles, actually I think everything that I just showed you, it is all made with the Hobie Honey Bunny yarn. So I'm going through that. I don't know if I'm going to be ordering from them anytime soon, just because when we left off last time, when I waited so long for the order through our postal service, they were going on strike. They're kind of off strike right now. They are on a rotating strike, so they are delivering mail, but it's not coming quite as quickly as it would regularly. I did show you this guy, so our angry little bunny. We got that guy. A couple things that I got done later this week as well. I got a couple of these cows, and I can't remember off the top of my head who their pattern writer is for this one, but I will definitely put it in the description as well when I post the video. So these 2 little cows, I had these last year, and this is actually the first time I've made them this year. I'm not sure why, because they were popular last year as well. So we have 2 to go with us tomorrow. Another new one, again, I will link the pattern designer in the description as well, is a couple crayons. So this isn't something that I had really thought about doing. In the last market that I was at, there was another vendor that was making crayons, and a few kids were walking around with them. So I figured if it's going to be a popular item, let's make a couple. These are the only 2 colors that I have, only because it's the only 2 colors that I had, dark version and a light version of the same color. I'm going to take a look. I might have enough to do a blue crayon as well, just with the 2-tone. But I think I'm going to definitely order some yarn that will be able to do some more of those guys. And then something else that I've just had kicking around for a while. Typically when I price my items, I time myself and then kind of integrate the cost of the materials in there as well to get my pricing. I think I'm just going to put this little pig up here. He's super cute. I think I might just pop him up for $10 and let him go this time. And then when I do another one, I will make sure I time myself and see exactly how much he should be worth. But we'll put him on the table this week. And the one thing that I'm not going to have on the table this week, and I'm so sad, is going to be one of our big mallards. This will be, I think, the second market actually, that I won't have one on. I got as far as making its wings. I got its feet done, and then realized I ran out of the mustard color of for his beak. So I could have done the rest of his body, but I figured there wasn't any point. I'm not going to have him ready for tomorrow anyways. I don't live close enough to a Michael's to run out and just grab some yarn quickly to finish it off today. So I just worried about focusing my time on other plushies for today before tomorrow. I definitely was playing Yarn Chicken a couple times today. I lost both battles. One was with the large mallard. I'll actually show you here. So I have the 2 feet, and that is literally what I finished off with the 1 skein of yarn. So not very much left over. I usually like to have a little bit longer tail when I finish off an item. These get crocheted right into the body, so I don't have to sew it in. So the shorter tail isn't going to be that big of a deal when I go. The other thing that I lost Yarn Chicken to, again, a new pattern that I thought I would attempt, just something extra for the holiday season, was a Christmas tree. So I was able to get sort of his parts done because he does come with a star that needs to be sewn on the top, and then he has a couple feet, and I've lost them somewhere in my mess on the table. Then he has 2 little brown feet that go at the bottom of his tree. The problem with this is I only have that little bit left of yarn. I was going to try to go around the last, so it literally just needed 1 last round, and it's 60 single crochets around the bottom. I was going to start with this. I realized I wasn't going to get around, so I didn't even bother. But the other thing too, when the yarn was in its wrapper, the yarn actually got stuck to the glue. And I was going to try and peel it off, but there's no way you're going to get that off. So, and I don't want to crochet that into the item. So I think I'm going to frog 2 rows and just leave it with 54 around the bottom. I'll do 1 final crochet and then basically just whip stitch it right across the bottom to close it. So if I frog 2 rows, I should have enough just to close it up. These holes too need to be sewn up. So the pattern says to just take an extra piece of yarn and go through and slip stitch across. I think I'm going to do that still, of course, but I'm going to use a worsted weight yarn. I have some loops and threads, worsted weight yarn that I had purchased to do a blanket, and I just happen to have this color, so I'm going to use that to close up the bottom. So I think I might just take this with me tomorrow. This will be something that I can work on in between people coming in to the table. Tomorrow we do have just 1 6-foot table, so we're definitely gonna utilize our cubes tomorrow and see how we can do 1 table. I haven't had to set up just 1 single 6-foot table since last holiday season, so I might just reference a table from last year to see what the best way to set it up is going to be for tomorrow. But we're going to try and maybe get a couple more things done tonight before we decide to pack it in. And then we will pick it right up tomorrow when we go to market. Have a good night, guys. Hello everyone. Are we ready to talk about market results? I'm not gonna lie, when I first arrived, I was a little worried on how this market was going to go. Originally, when I signed up for the market, I signed up fairly early when they had posted the application process. And when I got the first couple of emails, they had mentioned, like some other organizers do, that they were going to limit how many of each item there was. And I didn't think anything of it. Okay, perfect. Usually if they say they're going to limit it, they're going to limit 2 to 3 usually for the same kind of idea. And of course, crochet plushies, very, very popular right now. A lot of people are doing them, and it's not always easy to get into markets. I think I've applied for 3 markets this year that I have been denied, and just because they had too many crochet plushies. And you know what? I can respect that decision, because the last thing you want is too many and nobody gets a good amount of sales. So you always want to try and make your table back, and then some more, of course. So, you know, I respect those decisions. So when I arrived, we didn't know where we were set up. There wasn't a map sent out prior to the actual market. So the day of, I mean, it was well organized. When you first walk in, there was somebody there with a clipboard. They told you exactly where you were placed, and everything had your name and your business name if you had one, with 2 chairs. We had to provide our own tables at this one, not a problem. So when I walked in to the doors that they were letting the vendors in, you hang a right down the hallway, and I was the very first vendor as soon as you turned that corner. And I was also positioned right beside the gym. Now, would I prefer the gym? Yes. I have done a couple hallways in schools before, and they weren't really that good. This one, it actually turned out not too bad. And maybe it was because where I was positioned. So where everybody was actually coming in were the front doors of the school, which I think were on the other side. I didn't actually take a wander around the school, and I didn't take a wander down the hallway to see what other vendors were. I just saw what I could see in an eye shot of where I was sitting. But I had another vendor that I have come across. We've crossed paths before at other markets. You know, we chit-chat back and forth. And to be honest, until this market, I actually thought she did something different. She's a crocheter herself as well. And that's what I even told her. I thought she was actually doing freeze-dried candy. That's what I thought she was selling, because maybe I just saw her at a booth at a different market, and she just happened to be standing there talking. I don't know. Anyway, she was another crocheter, and she was positioned in the gym, and she came out and she whispered to me, she goes, "There's like 4 other crocheters in the gym." I said, "Wow, okay, wasn't expecting that." And then she comes back like 5 minutes later, she goes, "Make that 5 others." So I don't know if she was including herself in there as well. So there was at least 5, if not 6, maybe even 7, because there could have been another crocheter down the hallway that I hadn't gone down. So there was a lot of us. Now, with that said, I'm actually quite happy with what my results were, which we're going to get into in just a second here. But yeah, I was a little disappointed when I first walked in, but it all turned out okay in the end. So when we arrived, I arrived right at 8 o'clock, as many of the other vendors did. I find it takes myself a little bit of extra time. Not only am I by myself bringing everything in. Something I need to get, though. I need to get one of those handy dandy wagons, let me tell you. Somebody let me borrow theirs because I don't have it, and there I am hauling everything, and I carry everything in those plastic totes. So I'm carrying a few at a time, a couple at a time, and all my crates and my table and everything. And somebody offered one of those wagons to me. They were done unpacking already. And it was 2 trips with the wagon, aside from when I was unpacking and ready to leave. I think I walked back and forth like 7 or 8 times trying to pack up my car. So I need to get one of those wagons, especially for the next market, because again, I'll be by myself and that's totally fine. But I'll have a little bit longer walk to get to where tables are actually going to be positioned. So that is on the short list to buy in this next coming week. But as for the results, which we really want to get into, so this market was a shorter market. It was only 4 hours long. And to tell you the truth, that was kind of good. I don't know if it was because it was 4 hours long and it was just always busy right from the time that the doors opened at 10 a.m. So this market went from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It was busy. There was really no downtime. There wasn't a lot of lulls between people coming through. And again, because of where I was positioned, a lot of people didn't even know there was vendors in the gym at first. I heard a lot of people getting to sort of my table and the couple tables ahead of me, and all of a sudden they walk past the gym and they're like, whoa, there's a whole bunch more in here too. So I don't know if that was just a marketing thing or somebody at the door failed to tell them that, you know, keep going through. But anyways, I think part of my sales were actually they bought from me before they even got into the gym. So it was actually kind of a good thing, I guess. So the first hour, 10 to 11 a.m., we started off, our first sale was a 3 for $10. So our little squishies that we sell for $4 each are 3 for $10. So I sold 3 of those right off the bat. I sold the little clam. I had one made up several weeks ago and I haven't sold it. And I had a few people looking at it. And finally, this one family came through and they had 3 kids, sorry. Mom and dad was with them. And the one little boy picked up the clam right away. And their daughter picked up one of the turtles, and the older daughter was like, oh, I still want to look around. So mom and dad's like, well, put that down. Let's go take a look. And if that's really what your heart is set on, we'll come back and get it. So they did the whole lap of the gym. Sure enough, they came back. They grabbed the 2 items that they really wanted. So we sold the clam. We sold one of the turtles. So both the kids bought what they had their eyes on right from the beginning. I sold that seahorse. So that one that it was peach with the green fins. I probably won't do that pattern anymore. I don't know. We'll keep that one kind of on the back border. I don't love making them. They're trickier to make. There's extra pieces, but so it went to a good home. And then I started selling some of my silicone keychains this market. This is probably the most that I've sold since I've started putting them on my table. So we sold a butterfly keychain to a cute little girl. Her grandma had bought her this little pouch at a different vendor's table. So she bought the keychain to clip right onto that pouch. So she could actually carry it from the keychain itself. So that was kind of cute. So in the first hour, we sold $65 worth. So not a bad start. From 11 to 12, this is definitely where we saw more of the traffic coming through. There was no food vendors at this market, so it wasn't like people were coming through and grabbing a bite to eat and then coming back in for any reason. Yeah, so 11 to 12, busiest hours that we had. So in the very first sale in that hour, I sold 2 of the keychains. I didn't write down exactly which ones I sold, but I did sell 2 keychains. I sold 2 of the Mallard Duck Squish next. Both to separate people, but they were back to back, so I just kind of combined them in together on my list. We sold the Burgundy Penguin, so that was the one that was really tricky to make, and the white that's on it kind of turned like a light pink color, because as I was crocheting, the dye from the burgundy yarn was transferring onto the white yarn, but somebody loved it, so they grabbed that. We sold another Mallard Squish, so 3rd one for that hour. I sold the taco finally. I have been carrying this taco around probably for a year and a half now, and somebody finally bought it. And funny enough, it was actually my dentist came in with his daughter, and it was his daughter that bought the taco. So thank you for that sale. And then we did one of the large Christmas mushroom boys. So I had made these again last year for last Christmas market. Only sold a couple, so I've been carrying 4 around with me all season, and I used the blanket yarn, so they did work up a little bit bigger than the other ones that I have. So I sold one of those to end off that hour at $71, so a little bit better than hour number 1. Going into hour number 3, from 12 to 1 o'clock, we started again off with another keychain. This one was a coffee keychain. We did a mom keychain. Another Mallard Squish, definitely a popular one this market. We sold one of the little small chickens, one of the little $5 chickens. Another Mallard Squish. And we sold the snake. So there's a couple people that had the snake, and there was a girl that had come by and looked at it a couple times and saw it was still sitting there. So she came, she grabbed it, and bought the $25 snake. So that hour we finished off with $56. And then the last hour from 1 to 2, we started off by selling that cute little piggy that I had had in my office, and decided to price it at $10. Took it to this market and got picked up by a little 2-year-old. She was super cute. She was there with mom and dad, and she had a baby brother in the stroller. So she was walking around and her eyes just went right to this pink pig. She was also wearing a pink skirt, a pink top. Clearly pink was her favorite color. And there was no way she was leaving without that pig. She grabbed the pig off the table. She gave it a quick hug. She put it in the bottom of the stroller. And that was it. Mom and Dad are like, whoa, we got to pay for the pig. So they gave her the $10 bill, said, you go take that to the lady that made it. I grabbed it from her and we took the tag off for her, and she left with it in her arms, hugging it. So that pig was going to a good home for sure. We sold one of the single baby whales, so one of the little $4 ones. I then sold 3 keychains to one lady, and I'm hoping she'll come back because she's bought one of my grandma keychains. I only had one left over, so I do have some more to make here, so I'll have to make some up before the next market on December 6th. I did tell her of the date and where I was going to be, so if she wants to get another one, she knows where to find me for that. 2 more small chickens, so the little $5 chickens, and then one last mallard squish to finish off the day. So that last hour we did $47. So all total, we sold $239 at this market. So like I said, not bad for where I was positioned, how many other crocheters were there doing crochet plushies in particular. And the lady that had touched base with me earlier in the day, she came by and she sold about the same. So both of us had relatively a good day. Obviously a little bit better day had we not had so many of us there, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. It was a successful market. It was good. We had fun. I had a good chit chat with the 2 ladies that were beside me and across for me. I bought some really nice stuff. The lady across from me, I've never crossed paths with her in the past. She sells handmade pottery. So I definitely bought some of her pottery. I bought a really nice vase. I bought a couple of cups because we are making it a very exciting purchase this week. We are buying an espresso machine. I can't wait. So I bought 2 little cups to go with the espresso machine. So they will work well for that. So $239 is what we made. Our table fees for this one was $40. And then they had a raffle going on. So I did donate $20 worth of my items. So I donated a keychain. I do pens as well. And then I also did one of the smaller octos. So I sent those 3 things for the silent auction. So $20 altogether. So I took that out of the actual profits. So all in all, $179 is what we finished off with. So like I said, very happy with that. I didn't do a tally of how much cash versus square. I do know I made more this time again in cash versus the square. I think I only did 4 sales, maybe 5 with the square, and they were smaller items. So there wasn't a lot to go in there. So of course my fees would have been lower with the square as well. The nice thing with this one, even though we were at a elementary school, this was actually the Catholic school board. So with the Catholic school board in our area, we don't have to pay for insurance. So I saved some money there by going to a Catholic school instead of a public school. Not that I really realized that until after, but it was nice to save that little bit of money that we didn't have to pay. So all in all, a very good one. Very excited though still for the next one on December 6th. So we have about 3 weeks to go. So I have lots of time to market prep. There's some things that people brought to my attention that they were looking for. So I'm going to try and make that stuff before this next market. I do have a yarn order placed. I had it placed about a week and a half ago. So I'm crossing my fingers it comes by the end of this week. I bought 23 more skeins of yarn from Premier Yarns in some very specific colors to make very specific items. So some of those items are things that people are looking for. I've had questions about foxes. Some people are asking about capybaras, which I haven't made. I want to, so this is going to give me a good push to make them for the next market. Axolotls are another one that I really haven't made a whole lot. So I think those 3 things in particular, plus some others that I haven't made yet, I'll make for this next market, including one of those big mallards. We got to make sure we have one of those for the next market. The nice thing is I was talking to the organizer of that big market. She was there as a vendor herself, and she confirmed that I am the only one doing crochet plushies there. So I was so happy to hear that. She promised me that when she invited me to this market, and I'm very, very happy to hear that, you know, they stayed good on their word. They do have another crocheter there, but they do things like purses and blankets and clothing. So not a direct competition to myself because they're not doing plushies. So very happy for that. It's definitely giving me the push to make as much as I can. And who knows, this next one could be the biggest market of the year. It could overtake the one that I did in June, which still is the best market that I've had so far this year. So with that, guys, I'm going to leave you. We're going to get market prepping again. We have 3 weeks, so I'm going to touch base once in a while. I'll probably just do one video next time of just market prepping, and then we'll do a separate video of the market itself. But for now, thank you guys. Appreciate you following along. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye.